Okay.
There's baseball, basketball, football, soccer, and golf. All of which require skill. But what about tennis? Tennis is the most difficult sport to play, and in this speech I'm going to support my opinion about this argument. It demands the most mental and physical skill. With so many different strokes to perfect, the element of unpredictability in the mainly mental game, tennis is a sport that requires the most skill to play. There are many different strokes in tennis. There's the backhand, the forehand, the serve, the overhead, the slice, and the volley. There's so many different strokes to perfect that it requires private lessons, and because it takes so long to improve stroke. For example, I've been playing for 3 years now. I thought my backhand volley was really good, and then I went to Texas A&M camp, and they said it was the only thing I had to work on. And in addition, every stroke has a different grip on the racket. It takes a huge amount of skill to consistently use consistently use the grip. Changing from one stroke to another may sound simple, but if you get one part of the grip wrong, then the ball could fly out of the tennis court, or it could jeopardize your chances of winning the point. For instance, my backhand was suffering really bad, and I recently had a lesson with my coach, and he completely changed my backhand grip, and I've been playing much better since. In addition, in tennis, one is playing by themselves. However, unlike golf, they're playing against their opponent directly, so this creates an element of unpredictability in the game of tennis. It is impossible to know where your opponent will hit next, so this factor makes tennis a lot more difficult. To be a professional tennis player, one must have incredible focus. This is the only way to return a ball hit on your side of the court. It is imperative that you focus and put all your attention onto the ball. Also, players in sport must have amazing reflexes, be able to run fast, and use extraordinary judgment. Because if a ball is hit cross court and you're standing in the middle of the court, you must be on the balls of your feet, realize where the ball is, and run to the ball. But it's not that simple, because while running you have to set up the stroke, and if you run too close to the ball you'll get jammed and not be able to swing. But if you don't run enough, then you won't hit the ball. And as you can see, there is a lot more in tennis than just batting a ball over the net. Every tennis professional has one thing in common: their mental toughness. Mental toughness is very important in tennis, and it is the one factor that determines whether you win or lose. For instance, in one of my USTA tournaments, I was up a set and I had won it 6-1, but I was feeling really happy and excited that I was going to finally win a match. So in the second set, I lost 4-6, and then we had to play a super tiebreaker, which is 10 points in a row up to winning by 2, and I lost 6-10. And I let every single mistake get to my head, so it's important that you don't let anything get to you emotionally. In addition, this ability is so crucial that Timothy Galloway wrote an entire book about the subject called The Inner Game of Tennis, which is a classic bestseller. This book helps all sports and even some occupations such as musicians. This proves that tennis is a sport that requires the most mental skill. Therefore, tennis requires the most skill out of every single sport. Tennis players are alone on the court, and they have nobody else to rely on but themselves. As Pete Sampras put it, it's one-on-one out there, man. There ain't no hiding. I can't pass the ball to someone else. There are so many strokes and grips to perfect. You can't be a professional tennis player until you are amazing at them, and it's really hard to be amazing at every single one of them. During a match, it's impossible to know where your opponent will hit the ball next. It requires a great amount of skill to run quickly to the ball and hit it over the net. In addition, tennis is a sport that demands the most mental toughness. Since you're out on the court alone, it is your responsibility to keep encouraging yourself, which is hard to do when you're making a lot of mistakes. Additionally, getting mad can throw your whole game off, and letting nothing get to you is a main part of the inner game of tennis. However, tennis is a sport that entails the greatest range of skill.